What's the best aperture value to use for wildlife photography? In this video, let's talk more about aperture and understand which aperture value is most suited for wildlife photography. I'm Girish Menon, and I just show up on your screen and start talking about photography. I post new videos on wildlife photography all the time. Please subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out. When clicking wildlife, we are invariably always on the widest aperture setting of the lens. When we click pictures at wider apertures, that means smaller f numbers, the foreground and background go completely out of focus. Prime lenses such as the 300 2.8 or 400 2.8 or 500 f4 or 600 f4 click super sharp pictures wide open. Zoom lenses are not as sharp as those prime lenses wide open. They get sharper as we stop down. But present day zoom lenses produce decently good results even wide open. Most consumer zoom lenses have their widest aperture at 5.6 when you zoom in all the way to 400 millimeters or 500 millimeters. You might think there's not so much of a difference between 4 and 5.6, but the difference is huge. At an aperture value of 4, the lens is actually bringing in 2 times more light as compared to 5.6. And even the difference in the depth of field, that is how much more the background goes out of focus, is huge. Let's compare some pictures that I clicked with a 300mm lens at f4 compared to a 500mm lens at 5.6. See how the background has gone completely out of focus at f4. These pictures were clicked at 5.6 on a 500mm lens. When your subject is closer to the background, at 5.6 the background does not really go significantly out of focus, as you can see in these pictures. But even at that wide aperture of 4, the background will not go significantly out of focus if there's not much of a distance between your subject and the background. There are some lenses which extend all the way out to 600 millimeters, but the widest aperture at 600mm is 6.3. You might think that the difference between 5.6 and 6.3 is not big. It's 1/3 of a stop, but more importantly, at 6.3, that background is not going to go significantly out of focus. And often you get a very unflattering, unpleasing background which takes the attention away from your main subject. I clicked these flamingos at 5.6, but you can stop down your aperture to 8 when you're clicking larger birds in flight so that you get their entire wingspan in focus. You might think that the aperture priority mode is the way to go when clicking pictures of wildlife. That's not entirely true because it has its limitations. I have a video which explains the various camera modes. I highly recommend that you go have a look at that video so that you can integrate that information with this, which will help you to click better pictures.